Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Hivemind After Hours. It has been a while since we've been able to record one of these. Today, we are here with Chris from Torrential, who are dropping a brand new album later this year. We're here to talk to him about the new album, some of the recent singles, and metalcore. I'm here with Justin and Derek. Jacob, unfortunately, was not able to make it today due to internet issues. So we just got the three of us today. And Chris, how are we all feeling today?
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me. I'm feeling good. I've had a busy Sunday, but everything's fine. I hope everything is fine with you guys as well.
Other than Jacob's internet being out, which is
Other than
unfortunate.
Yeah. Other than that, it always seems to be internet to get one of us.
I don't know if I can count my Sunday as busy yet. I've been awake for about 15 minutes.
But what time is it for you guys?
It's 12:07.
Yeah. Oh, that's a reasonable time to just wake up. I'm doing the same basically on weekends, so
yeah. If there's ever a time to do it, may as well sleep in.
Yeah.
If I wasn't already out doing stuff, because I've been out since 8 a.m. doing stuff. So
yeah, I know. We wrote today at 12 p.m. our time. So I was thinking, well, is he awake? Is he already awake, or will he go to bed before we
see
talk?
That's a problem with me personally, because I just don't sleep at regular human times.
Justin operates at gremlin hours.
I do operate at gremlin hours, even though I have a completely normal work schedule that does like to fuck with that sometimes.
Yeah, that's I know that as well. Yeah. The struggle is real, yeah.
Oh, it's so rough. So you guys have dropped, as of recording this, Fountain of Youth and the title track Digital Dreams have dropped off your most recent album, or upcoming album, Digital Dreams. It's dropping on November 23rd. How are those singles doing, reception wise?
Reception wise, we have heard a lot of support, and everybody who normally is around our area and gets in contact with us, they all love the stuff. What's interesting about the new stuff we've been putting out is Digital Dreams. Since it's the title track, you normally would expect something grandiose and a big hook and the most melodic song and the most catchy song of all of them. But we made a point of doing one of the heaviest tracks, of one of the grooviest and not necessarily radio friendly tracks as the main track for the album. So it's definitely been interesting how people thought that we would have another song coming out that is with a big chorus hook and the melodic stuff we've been doing for quite a while. Yeah, and it's been fun to break these expectations a little bit. But I have heard a lot of people talk about the song in a very positive manner.
Yeah, I know we haven't had the chance to discuss Digital Dreams yet, because we haven't done our September recap yet. But the harsh vocals in the chorus there, kind of fucks. I really liked that. I'm not always the type of guy to like that kind of vocal delivery in a chorus, but I think it really works there, and I think it's I don't know, it just speaks to your guys' versatility.
Actually, me neither, because I'm an old school metalcore kind of guy, but also a new school metalcore kind of guy. Yeah. So I listen to all the eras of metalcore, and I always like the songs with the clean singing hook the most. The songs that have the screaming vocals in the chorus are usually the groovy kind of songs, and they're good, but they're seldom my favorites. Yeah.
I'm thinking a Holy Roller by Spirit Box type situation. Exactly. But that song's just all out aggression, right. Yeah.
Exactly. And for some reason, I just wanted to see if I can write a song that gets me into the feeling of, oh, this is actually something that doesn't need a big hook and a big chorus. You can sing with everybody and kind of a stadium vibe where everybody joins in and stuff. Just pure aggression and pure groove. And yeah, I think we succeeded in that, and I'm pretty proud of the song.
Yeah, I think it's great. So
you mentioned that you wanted to write the song that way. What does the writing process look like for you guys? Like, are you the main person in charge of that? Is it a collaborative effort? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
The cool thing about Torrential Rain in our recording and writing process is that I do all the creative stuff. You know, I'm writing the songs, I'm writing the lyrics, I'm recording everything. But it's not like I do everything and the other guys are just there for being on stage. I keep in touch with them and I send them a ton of stuff all the time. The stuff I'm writing, and they give me feedback and they tell me, well, maybe try this, maybe try that, and maybe we can do it a little bit more in this kind of way. And then we write the songs together, but kind of not together, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And also, what I'm really grateful for about the other guys is everybody has like their subject to do in the band. Everybody has their job. You know, Gordy, our a guitarist, is involved in booking and management stuff together with our manager Johannes. Dario does so Dario is our drummer, and he does all the lighting stuff for live and our live session with the laptop and the backing tracks and whatnot. And Dominic, our bassist, does a lot of social media work, so I don't have to do really everything. And everybody has like their stuff they can do all the time, so I can concentrate on the creative stuff, which I'm best at. You definitely don't want to get me involved in booking or any kind of email writing or anything.
Fair.
Yeah.
There's a reason I leave Justin to do all the talking with most people.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I do for a job, so.
Can relate.
Yeah, but that's the way we write our songs, and most of the time I'm just like in my studio, and if something comes up that, like, you know, catches my ear, so to say, I'm just recording it, and I have so many unfinished songs, so many unfinished ideas on my computer, and I'm always trying to mix and match those and try to come up with different stuff. And that's a continuous process. I'm always doing that. So that's basically what our songwriting process looks like.
That is good to hear. You guys have like a very wide and varied discography with all of the tracks and songs you guys have released. What have been some favorites to record and produce?
Well, that's a tough one. I have to say, from previously released stuff or stuff that will be on the new album.
Previous release stuff is mainly what I'm referencing. Like me personally, I've been a fan with you guys since I think Home Alone dropped a while back.
Nice.
And that was like a really good song when that dropped, and it's still kind of ever turning in my playlist. So kind of something in that caliber, especially because you guys I think have 2 other albums that previously released. So feel free to like talk about those, see how they relate to the album that's new and upcoming. If you want to mention something off that album and not give specific details, go right ahead.
Totally. Well, the question to get back to the question was the most memorable stuff or the most what I remember most from recording.
Your favorites. So just anything that you can remember as being like your favorite or whatnot.
Well, it's a tough one to choose a favorite track, you know.
Right.
But if I had to pick some 1 or 2 tracks that I like most, for playing live, it's definitely Strung Out, which was, I believe, the second single after Home Alone we dropped right in that COVID kind of time frame. And I just love to play that song live, and it's always our show opener, and it gets the crowd going, and I have so many good memories from just standing on a dark stage, you know, where the intro plays, and, you know, it's going down in like a couple seconds, and then you're just letting loose, and that's always a great feeling for me. But what I also remember quite fondly was the whole process about Why Do I Care, which was like a poppy kind of pop punk kind of song for us, which we haven't done before. really that much. And the whole shooting of the music video was so much fun because that was the first time we, put on makeup and put on different costumes and stuff for the fun of the video. Because we always made kind of a point of just being us and not having this kind of stage outfit, what other bands do, and just being like regular guys that do the music or play the music that they love. Yeah. And that was pretty fun to, do something completely different, not only in the writing process and the recording process where I used a lot of different sounds or techniques where I previously haven't used before, but also during the making of the music video, which was really fun. So my two favorite tracks probably would be Strung Out and Why Do I Care? Not only from the recording process, but also from the live experiences or the experiences I had with these songs over the years.
Why Do I Care is
that
a good
totally
shout.
makes
That's
sense.
one of my favorite songs.
Thanks, man.
The live experience can go such a long way in making like a song memorable. Like I remember there was Crooked Soul by Dayseeker. Like it's a good Dayseeker song, but it's not one of my favorite songs. When I heard that song live, like that song skyrocketed up my ranks of like favorite Dayseeker songs just with like the live experience and hearing it with the crowd and everything. So like I can imagine it's like the same way on stage that like when you play a certain song that like maybe you don't expect to get as much of a reception and then it does, like
exactly
that feeling.
And that's what I hope for, at least. I mean, I can only hope, but that's what I hope for when we play Digital Dreams live, because I can imagine that people should be able to headbang on that song. And the problem for us always is, if you're doing this kind of progressive stuff, not to say that we are like Dream Theater or Animals as Leaders, kind of a progressive band, but the thing we go about writing our songs is we always want to challenge ourselves on our instruments. So we never write something that is like just power chords or just doing the bass notes of the track that the track would need to be sung over. But we also want to write riffs we have to practice, and that kind of makes the live experience sometimes a little bit more of a show of how much you have practiced. You can't really engage with the crowd that much if you're glued to your fretboard and hope you don't make any mistakes and all that kind of stuff. And also the people cannot start a mosh pit or do a wall of death if there is a time signature change every couple measures or so. And that's why I've been looking forward to play Digital Dreams live, because it's just groove. It's just focused on the heavy aspect, and that's just a moment in the live show where we can just let loose and, just relax for a change. I imagine, hopefully.
Funny how you say letting loose to like a mosh pit intending song. But it makes sense to make
sometimes you just gotta let loose in one of those.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's interesting that you mentioned challenging yourselves, because I feel like metalcore in general right now is very safe and almost stagnant. There are a couple bands that feel are really pushing the limits of the genre, but overall it's been a very bland year for metalcore, and I feel like that's a sentiment that, and to some degree, has been shared across the whole group. But I remember all of us being really impressed with Differentiate when we first listened to it, and the band's like creative direction in general. Like it was almost like a breath of fresh air in what has otherwise been a relatively lifeless genre. So with your sound being unique within the genre, do you have any artists or bands in particular in the scene or otherwise that you draw your influence?
Well, that is also a pretty tough question, because I as much as I try to keep our music complex and varied and try not to repeat a song, and always kind of try to surprise the listener and do something different. I mean, it's metalcore, you're having your scream vocals, you're having your riffs, you're having breakdowns and whatever, but our thing is we want to just surprise you with every song, and do something different, at least a little bit. Bands that do that for me personally are definitely Sleep Token, in my opinion. I know Sleep Token is kind of a divisive subject because some people really love them and some people really don't love them.
If Jacob was here right now, he's
the resident Sleep Token defender. But I think to some extent we all really enjoy it. I'd probably go, Jacob, me, Jake, Justin, probably in order.
Probably me ahead of Jake.
Ooh, okay. This is unexpected. We have to expect the unexpected with him. He put an album as his most disappointing 2 years ago, and then it also ended up in his top 10. So we never know.
Because it could have been number 1.
And we will never let you live that down. We will never let you live that down.
Well, it makes total sense for me.
Thank you. Someone understands.
But as you're saying, Chris, Sleep Token and
yeah, but Sleep Token is a band that doesn't have like one particular kind of style, and just does whatever they want to do, and that's something I really respect, and that's something I love, and I want to do as well with our music, and that's why we don't really try to adhere to any genre like limits and stuff. But okay, I'm getting off off topic because you asked me about my most listened to bands or bands I really appreciate. Well, one of my biggest influences also is Periphery. And I love basically everything they put out. Bad Omens as well. I love the newest album, The Death of Peace of Mind, because that's something that this is exactly what I'm talking about, like doing something that's not what people expected. And just having fun with the music you want to perform and doing the thing you love without adhering to any expectations. And that's the vibe I get from that album. And also what I really like as of late is a band called The Home Team, if you've heard of them.
Yeah,
good choice.
Their newest album, Slow Bloom, really love that. And also Silent Planet. I've just discovered Silent Planet. I actually was at a show of them in like March or something, where we went to see Era. Also, I fucking love Era.
Absolutely.
And they played Silent Planet played as an opener, and I didn't know a single song, and I'm just starting to get into them now. So I'm really biting my own ass here because I didn't know any songs of them by then.
I just missed out on seeing Silent Planet like a week ago, so you know what? I'm gonna say it in both because I wasn't a huge Silent Planet fan either. I know Derek and Jacob have tried convincing me on them, and never really worked until they dropped Antimatter a few months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And Antimatter just that hooked me immediately.
Exactly, that was the song for me as well.
Yeah.
No, I think at least the bands you've listed combined with your sound are like, it's clicking in my head in the sense that I feel like every single band that you've listed is defying genre expectations and challenging themselves in sort of the same way that you've said that you want the band and yourself to challenge yourself. So I think you guys are setting yourself up for success personally, because a lot of those bands you listed have gained a lot of popularity recently for defying genre expectations. And
well, yeah, and like you said before, metalcore is a genre where, if we're being honest, probably every breakdown has been broken down by now, and
it's unrepairable at this point.
Exactly. And I mean, you can shred like Jason Richardson and stuff, and you can play breakdowns and all that. But I think the problem is when bands or artists only focus on this one particular aspect. And I just want to pick and choose from all my influences, which don't necessarily have to be metal or metalcore related, and just take something from there. And if it sounds good, then it will just end up in one of our songs. And if we're happy with it, then we hope the people that will listen to it will be happy as well.
So how would you say that your inspiration for this upcoming album has differed from 2 previous released albums? Like, is it just a matter of a different artist, or is there a certain kind of genre that's altered your writing process? Like how is it different, or how is it the same?
Something so the core aspect is basically the same because of all the stuff I just said about breaking genre limitations and all that. What I've been really inspired by is like the whole AI rise of, AI generated stuff and all that. And that really inspired me when writing some of the songs, and also the whole concept of the album, because there will be a concept, which is the reason for it being called Digital Dreams. So like every song on the album will be like another dream an AI had. So it's always like a bit different in that regard. And it was really inspiring to get in that mindset of, there's no real rules. Just do something you feel like, and maybe you come out something somewhere where it makes sense, and maybe not. Maybe it sounds like shit, or maybe it sounds really good. And I think this creatively fueled me to try out some things I haven't done before on that album.
The rise of AI in recent years has been really interesting. Like, I feel like this year in particular, like AI has been around for a couple years at least, but I feel like 2023 in particular is the year that it's really like almost become mainstream, I want to say.
Yeah. I mean, the whole concept of it came to my mind when I was, messing around with Midjourney and just creating some images on there. And that's where I got the idea to like have a cover for every song and just generate that with Midjourney. And then obviously we had a real artist do some work there to bring that to life. But that fueled my creativity so much. And also like the whole, like you said, the rise of AI generated stuff, which can be something that is kind of a danger, or especially for creative people like artists and musicians and photographers or whatever, but also can be a blessing. I mean, how many times have you guys been using ChatGPT in the last year? For me personally, I've been using it a hell of a lot. And it's something that made my life a lot easier. So yeah, that was really inspiring for me, and that's something that really had an effect on this whole album.
I think if there's ever a time to like kind of hop on the trend of AI generated stuff and like talk about AI in music, like now is a pretty damn spot on time to jump on that train. Like it's like a hot topic right now.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Which is not to say that anything on the album was AI generated. I mean, before that, anybody says, just, "Oh, well, then everything is AI generated." No.
But just like the AI as like something that exists now, like discussing like the existence of artificial intelligence. I feel like it's an interesting thing to discuss, and like I don't know, there's so much like philosophical shit you can talk about with AI, like whether it's morally right or wrong, or like what's too far and whatnot, but it's clearly here to stay. So,
and that's the lyrical content of our of the newest single of Digital Dreams, and yeah, that's also something we talked amongst ourselves a lot. And also with different people, I'm sure you have had that situation as well. Like, where will it go in the next couple of years, the next 10 years, the next 20 years? Will everything be AI generated or, done by AI and something? And what will become of, human-made stuff, especially creativity? Will this become obsolete? And yeah, like I said, it's been really inspiring for me.
So as, I guess on that topic, as somebody who is directly involved with music and the music scene, do you have any predictions on the current trends of AI and the impact that it'll have on our music scene? Any positives or negatives or anything like that? Because it sounds like you've been very engrossed in it, both in personally and for the creative process of creating the album.
I mean, like I said, it probably will be great for, somebody who doesn't have like the means of, or isn't able to do an album cover and get their ideas across visually, the way it was for me all the time, because I had ideas for what the cover would be or what the artwork would be like, but I never could get it quite across. And we always had to hire some people and then tell them and then explain, and then they do their own stuff, and then it's not something you would have done yourself, and then you have to find a compromise and all that kind of stuff. So it's really inspiring to see this barrier being erased, because everybody can, do a rough mock-up of their preferred album cover for their whatever, when this will go as far as to be able to generate music, I can't really say what the benefits of this would be. I mean, it will definitely create some interesting technical death metal. But music is like, you have to feel something when you listen to music, and that's something like I can imagine will get lost in the coming years or the coming decades, if more people and an increasing amount of less skilled people, so to say, make music and release music, or I shouldn't say less skilled, but less involved people,
right?
Because you can just generate it with a click. Will it make you feel the way that current music makes you feel? That's an interesting question, and I don't really know the answer to that, because, I mean, the algorithm trains on stuff you have already lying out there, and that's good music, and that's something that makes you feel something. So if it's trained on this particular set of music, will it generate something that is as equally as good, or doesn't it have any soul anymore? I don't know.
I know that can't think of the name of it, but I think Warner, I want to say it's Warner Brothers, or their like music division, signed a fully AI artist recently. Like all the lyrics, all the vocals, all the instrumentals, as far as I know, are all AI generated, and it was the most boring, soulless pop song I have ever heard in my life. And I was just like, damn, I really hope this isn't the direction that it goes in. But I think you're spot on. Like even a decade from now, with all the machine learning going on within the AI, is there? I almost want to see a world where AI can create music that moves me, because I feel like it'll be extremely impressive. But at the same time, it's really scary, because I know that music in general is a very volatile. It's the scene is in a volatile state, and I don't want people to not be able to pursue their passions because AI has already, or has become, a factor that can actually create good music now. Like
exactly. But what's interesting for me is, would it be a good tool to use as a musician? That's what would interest me, because like I'm not a symphony composer, I can really tell you like what 20 violins will have to play against like 10 basses or a harp and whatever, and to arrange a whole orchestra would be a little too much for me to put into my music right now. But if AI was there to support that and do something that can maybe be a starting point for me to write something around that idea and fuel something else within me, well, that would be pretty interesting to have like some musical AI tool for that.
Yeah, I think using AI as like a starting point is like probably the best outcome. Is like, I don't know, just like using it to get a baseline and then being like, all right, this sounds decent enough. Now, how can I, as a human, make it sound better?
Yeah. So it's interesting to think about it, and I'm really excited for the future to see what what will become of that? Will it be good? Will it be negative? Will creativity die out, or will it be fueled and be even better than before? I guess we will just have to wait and see.
I feel like the live experience is such a core part of music that I don't think that like AI music will ever fully take over, but I mean, who knows what could happen in the next 10, 20 years, you know?
I mean,
True,
you say that, but
yeah,
like
true.
the stuff like Hatsumiko and
Oh yeah.
like some video game stuff has like it's worked in some areas. Like it just depends. I'm curious to see where it's going to go from here.
Yeah, and that's basically, to get back to the question we wanted to discuss originally. And that's basically the whole outlook we had with this album, and that fueled everything, and that's the main drive for the whole concept of the album.
I think it's going to make definitely for a very interesting listen, and I'm interested to see. I feel like we've had a lot of, you mentioned it with like the death of Peace of Mind, and I think Northlane is doing a lot of good too in pushing the genre forward. I don't really think that any band that comes to mind has explored AI as a concept, especially not as a full album. And it definitely feels to me, based on how you're describing it, that your upcoming album is going to be another one of those almost, I'll say, cornerstone albums that are important to the scene and drive the scene forward rather than keeping it the same. Like you said, every breakdown has been broken down. And so, yeah.
Well, thank you. That really means a lot to hear that. I hope so as well. But yeah, I'm excited.
We were lucky enough to receive a link to it early, and I haven't had a chance to listen to it, but now I'm definitely going to, probably as soon as we get off here, so that I've got it fresh in my mind and can really appreciate it, because I'm a sucker for concept albums like that, especially ones that delve into subject material that haven't really been touched before. And so, yeah, I think that you and the band are definitely ahead of the curve, it sounds like, and that makes me really happy, because I feel like we need more of that.
While we're on the topic of the new album, make sure to subscribe and follow us on social media, and follow the guys at Torrential Rain too. We are going to be doing a full album review when the album is fully out in November. So we're teasing some stuff here, but if you want to hear our full thoughts on the album when it comes out, that'll be in November. So be sure to check that out when we get to it. But I feel like let's talk about touring stuff, because you guys are coming up on the release of the album. And usually with a new album, you want to play the new songs live and stuff.
Exactly.
So, I guess, what would a Torrential Rain set list look like? Like, if you're going back into the previous discography, and like, what new songs? Obviously, I assume you'd want to play some of the singles for the album. But what are the heavy hitters for a Torrential Rain set list?
So, what new songs would I incorporate into the set list right now?
Yeah, yep.
Well, I would love to play the album in its entirety. But we can't really do that because, people are looking forward to Home Alone and Differentiate and Why Do I Care and all that. Also, it's pretty difficult to change the instruments all the time because I recorded on quite a lot of guitars. And if I would take the guitars with me, I needed to play all of the songs on the album. I'd be pretty packed with guitars for just one show. But a song I definitely would want to play live would be, of course, Fountain of Youth. Digital Dreams, like I said, because I want to see people headbanging and just groove with us. Also, the next single that will be released, Count on You. Probably Wanderers, because it will be a song that everybody can like join in. This is like this kind of song that the whole crowd can just sing with us on stage, and I'm really looking forward to play that one live. And definitely my personal favorite on this whole album is Walls Are Thick Where Love Is Thin. And I really want to play this song live because it's just a song that screams summer, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's just like good vibes, and but of course with a kind of a negative subject matter, which makes happy sounding songs even better, in my opinion. If you look at the at Lost by Bring Me the Horizon, like fucked up lyrics, but it's like a pop punk happy song. I really like that. Yeah, so Faults Are Thick Where Love Is Thin is really something I'm looking forward to play live.
What helps you guys decide like what songs to play?
First of all, tuning. That's the main reason to play some songs, because we mostly switch between 6, 7, and 8 strings now. With the new album, we're incorporating 8 strings. So I would want to get some 8-string songs in there as well, so you're not just busting out the 8-string for one song and then getting backstage with it and getting your 7-string again. So I would like to have more 8-string songs in the playlist. But also we kind of think about where we will play, and some venues or some shows, and especially with other bands you're playing together at that evening, you should do more of the harder songs, and whereas other bands will be like a little bit softer, and then you go for the more melodic stuff.
Kind of the vibe I'm getting is that for like a certain set of shows or like a tour, you might be like, all right, this is the tour where we play the 6-string and the 8-string guitar, and we'll play the 7-string songs on another tour type situation. Or
I would love to do that, but we can't really do that. That's the thing with always trying to be like diverse and not really being set on just one sound and one tuning and whatnot. We have so many songs that are in different tunings, so we will have to take at least 3 guitars to every show and have 6, 7, 8 strings on every show. But we will definitely try to play an equal amount of songs on all of these tunings. And usually the 8-string songs are more of the heavier kind of stuff, so they're more in the middle of the set, I would say, and the more melodic stuff usually gets put a little bit into the back end of the show with us.
Now to kind of piggyback off that, picture this Torrential Rain headliner. Who would you want to open for you, and vice versa? Who would you like to open up for at some point?
So I can pick any band, right?
Yeah,
even if they're bigger.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, I would love to open for Periphery, because they're one of my biggest influences, and I just love everything that Spencer Sotelo does. And if I mean, it's blasphemous to even say that, but if I had to have a band open for us, that I really love, then it would be Era.
Ooh.
But I also would be just like honored to play to open for Era at some point, which would be a dream come true. And also there's this niche German traditional folklore kind of artist called Alexander Markus, which really does crappy shit music, but everybody's kind of like really liking it. Also our band as well, and we kind of unironically listen to it at every drive to and from a show. So I kind of would have to put Alexander Markus in there as well.
Respectable, honestly.
Yeah, honorable mention there.
Have a bill of Periphery Era, you and Alexander Marcus Fever Dream tour.
That would be a
solid,
fever
admittedly.
dream tour. Yeah.
Everybody's there for the German folk, and then suddenly the pit opens up.
Cool. Are there any current plans for any touring while the album is due to release, or are you guys waiting for that to drop before you guys
That
head
you
out
can
on
talk
tour?
about. Maybe if there's
No,
That
we
you
can-
can talk about, of course.
No, we can talk about it because as of recording this right now, I just was on the phone before it with our guitarist Gordy. And we were talking about when to announce like the shows we will be playing in fall of this year. So it's all good. We're gonna go on tour like later this year, from October all throughout to December. And it's usually for us like that because me and Gordy, we both are teachers, and so we have to kind of plan around the holidays here. So we don't
makes sense.
get to choose our vacation time. We just have set timings where we can go on tour for a whole week or 2 weeks at a time, and then we would have to stick to the weekends. Yeah, because metal kind of does not pay the bills.
No.
Fair,
Yeah.
fair.
Maybe one day though.
Maybe one day, yeah. I mean, that's the end goal, right?
Yeah.
To just do the stuff you love and just produce the music that you want to produce, and have people that really like it, and also make a living from that. That would be that would be my dream come true. Yeah, but we're working on it.
I guess we can go from there and kind of talk about, like, other than making it to like your full-time career, any other like long-term goals that you have for the band at this point.
Ooh, long-term goals. I want
Like,
to.
are there any like dream venues that you want to play? Any like, I don't know, like reach the 1 million monthly listener milestone or something like
Wow,
that.
that would be absolutely crazy. I would love to play the Wacken Festival because it's just like this staple. You played Wacken and then you're one of these bands. Also, there's this festival in my hometown called Rock im Park. I don't know if you have heard of it ever. Like these two festivals, Rock im Park and Rock am Ring, are like some of the biggest rock kind of festivals in Germany. And ever since I started a band, everybody around me always said, you're going to play at Rock im Park next year, huh? And I always was like, well, hopefully. And we haven't yet. So I would really love to play Rock im Park once, even if it's just a shitty club stage. But I can say I have played Rock im Park. And also, like I said, Wacken, there are a bunch of other festivals we would love to have played. But also one of my real dreams would be to play shows in the US, shows abroad, not just Europe, because basically you can sit in your car and drive for a couple hours and you're in a different country in Europe.
Right.
But so it's not that big of a deal to get into a different country here. But I would love to play a show over there in the US. That would be a dream come true.
We'd love to have you. Get over here.
Always welcoming.
Make sure to make a stop in Virginia, or else those two will be very upset.
We will be so sad.
Look, at least someone's gotta if no one else comes here.
Nobody ever comes to Virginia.
And when they do, it's Blue Ridge Rock Fest.
Okay,
Cool.
I've heard of Blue Ridge Rock, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that nobody comes to Virginia. It's that the artists that we want to come to Virginia never make it here. And then like just some band that we have no interest in is like, yeah, we got like 2 Virginia shows coming up. And it's like, oh man.
That sounds like my hometown as well. Yeah. It's like the second biggest city in Bavaria. So then the biggest city would be Munich, and every band just goes to Munich, which, I mean, I would just have to drive like 2 hours to get there. But it still sucks because couldn't they just also do Nuremberg as well? Well,
Right.
yeah. So I know that feeling. But yeah, isn't the crowd in the US kind of tough? That's something I've always heard, like when bands get abroad into the US, like US listeners are kind of tough on shows.
I don't know. It really depends. Like a couple years back, Dayseeker had a couple of bands from abroad come around to open for them. They had Holding Absence, Thornhill, and Caskets, and from what I could tell, like those bands did really well and were received really well. And I mean,
Well,
definitely
those are awesome bands, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you guys are an awesome band too. So it's like, I mean, it just really depends on like where you go and the atmosphere of the place, because like you know, some venues and like the people that are there, and like in some areas it's a little bit difficult for that kind of like sound, especially like a more varied sound, to kind of really resonate with people. And but you know, I feel like you guys would be fine.
Well, hopefully one day.
I would say too, it really depends on the bands that you either are support for or have as your support. Like for instance, if you were to go on tour with Silent Planet, I have no doubt in my mind that you would be received incredibly well, because Silent Planet fans in general over here are more open-minded, and the band's music, like especially in their earlier discography, is very experimental and different, so people have a willingness to that. You know, technical bands like Era too, like you mentioned. There are unfortunately certain bands' fan bases over here that aren't as receptive. I think Bad Omens is probably the biggest example of that. Yeah, we the US, their evolution on TikTok and rock radio has brought in a lot of younger fans, and something that I went to a concert for a rap artist over here called Don Tolliver, and the new younger fans who don't have the experience of smaller like metal shows or rock shows and concert etiquette are extremely rude, and they will pick fights and they will shove and try and get their way to barricade by any means possible. And it was so bad at that one concert I went to that I literally had to, like, my girlfriend and I had to get out of the crowd. Like we had and bought tickets to get barricade and kept getting smushed up against them, and people were elbowing people and punching people. And there have been a bunch of fights at the Bad Omen shows recently, and people are, I mean, literally the openers for that tour are Era and Icy Stars, two of like the best live bands out there. And these fans are like on their phones in the front row intentionally, so that hopefully that band will leave sooner to get Bad Omens on the stage. So,
dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, so it really depends on the band and people. The hardened metalcore veterans, I'll say, like of the scene, have fans that are a lot more receptive. For bands that are relatively newer and exploded in popularity, like Bad Omens, the fan base is younger and doesn't have that concert etiquette yet. So it really depends on who you tour with. And not to say that all of the newer Bad Omens fans are bad, but they literally, past couple of shows, Bad Omens has like skipped songs because people were fighting, and they're just like, oh, well, you don't care, we're just going to move on. And so it makes other people miss out on their favorite songs just because other people are being rude.
That sucks. So
the US can be rough, but it can also be, I would say, probably it can be the most and least receptive, depending on what your sound is and who you're touring with. So
better get a good band to tour then with.
I was gonna say all that to say, please get on a bill with like Silent Planet and Era, and just come over here and have the time of your life, because I think that would go very smoothly.
That wouldn't even feel real to be on that kind of tour. Damn, that would be a dream.
Well, hopefully we can make it happen. I say we, like I've got any sway.
Like we have any control, right?
Yeah, man, go pull some strings, please.
We'll work on it.
I'll call it my boy Garrett. You know, he and I go way back. Just we'll get something set up.
I think that's about it for all the questions that we want to talk about. Chris, is there anything else that you wanted to mention that we haven't been able to talk about yet during this?
I think we actually been quite extensive in everything, or thorough, because I don't think I have left anything out I wanted to say.
Awesome.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. So with that, be sure to go follow the guys in Torrential Rain. Their new album Digital Dream is coming out in November. Go listen to the singles. See if you're interested into it. If you like technical metalcore, it definitely will be up your alley. Be sure to follow us on social media as well at Hivemind Radio _ on Instagram and Twitter. Hivemind Radio on Spotify and YouTube. Yeah, and be sure to stay tuned for our full album review for the album when it comes out in November as well. Yeah, Chris, thank you again for joining us on this.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It really was
Chris,
a pleasure.
What are your guys' socials for all your social medias?
It's Torrential Rain Band pretty much on every platform: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're working on an OnlyFans right now, but our manager is kind of. No, it's just Torrential Rain Band on anything. Subscribe to that, and yeah, we would love to have you in our community. And we're always really working to get out new content in and around of this new release, this new album. We will be producing some music videos, playthroughs, visualizer stuff, and all that. So you can look forward to a lot of content that's coming your way. Yeah, don't miss out on it.
Awesome. All right, I think we will call the episode a wrap there. Thank you for listening, everyone out there that has listened to the full episode and made it all the way to the end. And we'll see you with our next recap or another After Hours episode in the future.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you.